Hey there, Smoke Master D coming at you again, this time with an episode on dual fuel combination cookers. All right, and I wanted to start off with some things that I am not covering here today. And one thing is dual fuel cookers that have separate chambers, right? And there's a lot of those out there. Oklahoma Joe's, they made it really popular a little while back, but those aren't what I'm going to be looking at today. So everything has to be cooked in a single chamber with two different fuel sources. All right. Now, another thing is this Americana by Miko. You have to basically rebuild it to go from electric to charcoal. So the process of rebuilding it, if you want to check out my bullet smoker episode, that's where I've covered Americana by Miko before. You can do that, but I'm not going to talk about them today. I've also talked about pig cookers. It is pretty common for pig cookers to have dual fuel if you want it, especially with some of these custom people. And I talked about some in that episode as well. So you can check out that tool too, but I'm not going to talk about pig cookers today. This gator pit here, Richie, I think his name is, he made a YouTube video about this pit that he's made, but it's not on his website. And since they are very much a custom shop, and they could make it any size you wanted, since it's not standardized on a website, I decided that I didn't want to cover it either. Now, I'm sure you could call up Gator Pit of Texas and get one of these things if that's what you wanted, and maybe you should, but I'm not going to talk about them much anymore today either. All right, and let's take a look at the four fuel sources that we have to combine. Wood and charcoal, I decided to add those together. If I didn't, all offset smokers would be dual fuel. So really, they are pretty much the same thing in a lot of ways. And I'm going to have them as the same here. Propane is the next one. Electricity, an electric element that heats up. And lastly, pellets. And here you can see some chapter times and all the different smokers that I'm going to do. If you want to jump ahead, feel free to do so. Also, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. All right, and starting off with pellet and gas. All right, one of the inspirations for me to even make this episode was Camp Chef launching this Apex. They got a lot of YouTube content creators together and brought them all together. I think it was maybe in Utah, and they all made shows there using this new Apex 24. Several of the ones that I follow included. So the 24 is 21.99.99. The 36 is 24.49.99. I think they might have run out of this 36 when I last looked on the website. Hopefully, if you're looking to buy it, they're back in stock at the point that you're watching this. But yeah, those are the prices for these Camp Chef Apexes. And let's take a closer look. On the bottom left, we have sort of a schematic of what's going on here. And one thing that I really like about them is how far away the fire pot is from the actual grates. So, when you have all that heat in that pot radiating up, having more space is going to keep radiant heat from your meat and make it more convection cooking. So that's a really good sign for this Camp Chef cooker. You see the heat deflector there. You can also see on this picture to the side that the heat deflector you can pull out. So it's heat deflector and grease shield. You can pull it straight out from the front of it to clean, right? Also, I believe you can take the ash cup off of there, off the bottom. You see that picture as well. So you just twisted off. So you also see that the way that this thing works, the smoke is vented down. So it kind of goes all the way up. It has to escape in a downwards direction. And you can see that in this picture that I just put up here. I'm not entirely sure why that's important. Maybe it is, maybe it keeps the smoke in there longer. I'm not even sure. But it is one feature about it. Another impressive feature is that it comes with a sidekick with the griddle. So, you have that side burner if you want to do some smash burgers as well. There you go. It has a 30-pound hopper with a low pellet sensor. You see the pellet sensor in that picture. It has Wi-Fi, so with app control. Has a bottle opener, a night light. So, you're cooking into the night instead of having a light out there. I have a little lantern that I take with me. You can just turn on a light right there in your grill. Super convenient. 4 probes, has a probe tray. Everything about this grill is incredibly convenient all around, right? So, really, it seemed like they put a lot of thought into everything with the engineering of the Apex. There are a few accessories. If the shelf that's over, the hopper isn't enough for you, you can get this fold down front shelf. It's $94.99 for the smaller one and $109.99 for the 36-inch. They have a cover that's either $82.99 or $89.99 for the larger. And also, on the Sidekick, they have this lovely artisanal outdoor oven. It's $149.99. You can make pizzas in there. So, really, a fun sort of add on. I really do appreciate fun accessories. All right, and Apex, they are not the only player in the game when it comes to pellets and gas combined. The lifetime 4 burner gas grill and pellet smoker combo is $12.99.99 at Walmart currently. I think that there is a higher price out there, maybe at another vendor, but I went with the Walmart price, as you see there. And I have affiliation with Walmart insofar as I can make links for them. And if you want to buy something from Walmart, including this grill, if you use that link, it'll help me out. I don't feel beholden to either Amazon or Walmart, who I have affiliate links with. In fact, I've never even really made any money from people buying things after using my links. But I wanted to throw that out there just in case this is the grill you want and you want to get it from Walmart. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So, the grease tray came out the front of the Apex. This one can come out the back. Instead of, the easy ash cup takeout, you have to reach in from this vantage point from the back to get the ash out. And I think the cup may come out. So, not entirely as easy, but not terrible either. This thing also has a lot of storage. So the compartment below has a lot of storage. You see that grease bucket is where the grease is caught, and you have side storage. So instead of a side burner, you have storage there in the right side of the grill. You have a warming rack. The propane is contained as well. It's not contained with the Apex. Not entirely sure how important that would be to you, but I suppose it's a little bit nicer with this lifetime for that. All right, and now we're going to break them down side by side. So you see the prices there. The lifetime is almost $1,000 cheaper, I guess $900 cheaper than the smaller Camp Chef there. So the sides, what are you paying that extra $900 for? The side burner with the griddle, whereas the lifetime just has extra storage. Storage is nice, but a side burner with griddle, I think, beats that. Hopper size, 30-pound hopper for the Apex, the low hopper sensor, and just a 20-pound hopper with the lifetime. Nightlight with the Camp Chef, not with a lifetime. The accessories, more accessories. Couldn't even find a cover for the lifetime. I don't know if that's a deal breaker for some of y'all, if you can wheel it into your garage. There's a lot of generic covers out there that you could get as well. So, that's that. Size and space in the grill itself. So all these are all added together, including the warming rack or secondary rack. So 811 with the 24-inch and 742. So the lifetime is the smallest. With that larger 36-inch, you have a full 1,236 inches squared. If we take a look at the dollar per inches squared, the lifetime does come in lowest with $1.75, $1.98 with the 24-inch, and $2.71 with the 36-inch. Okay, we got the weights there. And dollar per pound, it's a little bit better for the 36-inch Apex 742 than the 24-inch. And then it's a lot better for the lifetime. Of course, the difference that you're paying for is those features, like we said before. So, what do I think? What are my thoughts? I think that if you have a smaller budget, I think the lifetime could work fine for you. Do I think that the Camp Chef is better? Yes, it has better features. I think it will cook slightly better. I don't know if the cooking itself is a whole lot better than the Lifetime. I did mention how I liked all that vertical space between the fire pot and the racks. So I think that the Camp Chef definitely wins out. But if you don't have the budget for it, and it's fairly expensive, I wouldn't discourage you from getting the Lifetime either. So I think that is where we have to leave that. So now we have pellet and wood/charcoal. All right, and we're going to start off with the Brocmar Cletus 3.0 and the 3.1. So I added the second rack price in here, and it's 4,199. Okay, you can get it without the second rack for 39.99. But for the comparisons that I'm going to do, I just like to have that second rack in there. So if you want to think 3,999, you can. The 3.1, $4,999. All right, and just so you know, it seems that the 3.1 is an older picture. I do believe they all come with the Fireboard controller that you see on the left. All right, and here we have some of the features. So the auger is under the main chamber. I like that. I think that there's a fair bit of space between the fire cup and that main rack. I would probably think that you would want to do most of your cooking on the top rack, though. That is, where you're going to get less radiant heat. Because as we know, radiant heat is affected by distance. So the further you are away from radiant energy, the less it is. Just like we're standing on the earth feeling the sun's heat, but if distance didn't do anything, we'd be burned up to cinders, right? Because the sun gives us radiant heat. So just a sort of example of how that works. But there is some baffling that goes on underneath these grates. And I never really got a good understanding what these two levers are for. I imagine that they changed the baffling in such a way that you can go between the pellets and the firebox on the right. I heard the owner of Brocmar talking about this in an interview, and apparently, when he's using the offset mode, he will do it in such a way that he can use pellets and the smoke from the offset box at the same time. So, adjusting those could be very important to the usage of this machine. You see the damper there on the left-hand picture, a nice little mesh there to cover any, popping coals that might come at that opening. A nice hexagonal shape for the chamber. It appears that the two smokestacks also are the door stop when you lift up the door, have handles for the door that are on the sides there, an interesting stylistic touch. We have that front shelf there that includes the paper towel rack if you're going to be using paper towel frequently. All right, and lastly, we've got a pull bar. So the Cletus, very interesting, wagon wheels there. Has some style, and I like style, right? The firebox is 18 inches by 18 inches. All right, and lastly, if you wanted to see inside the firebox, it does come with a fire management basket that you see there, and it appears that it has a pull-out ashtray too to catch the ashes as they fall down. All right, and lastly, you can get a cover. So 350 for the smaller 3.0 and 390 for the larger 3.1. All right, and here we have Pits and Spits, the hybrid. So for carbon steel, it's going to be $5,000. For stainless, double that at $10,000. All right, and now you've seen both of the two pictures that they have on the Pits and Spits website. But let's take a look at some of these features. We've got a lot of features common to Pits and Spits that they've developed. They are, they say established in 1983. They are one of the oldest offset smoker builders in the country. And they went into the pellet game pretty early on compared to some others. But we have that rain guard stack, which they have on all of their pits. They have that roll top stainless lid too, so features that they're known for. Uh, they have on this one a stainless steel front shelf with the towel holder. They have their gas assist in the offset firebox, a grill top on the offset firebox as well. And these pictures come from another page on their website. In the description of the hybrid, they say that it is basically just the 24 by 48 offset with a pellet hopper attached to the front. So these pictures came from the 24 by 48 offset page. You see that the grill top there, they have expanded metal for the grate. We have the pinwheel damper system that they're also known for. Open that firebox and you have a charcoal grate that slides out. Underneath, you can see the propane stick, whatever you call it down there. They do not have an ash catch down there, which seems like an oversight of some kind. I could not find one in the description at all, nor could I find one for sale in their accessories. So a little too bad there. And here for the accessories that they do have for it. Now, one of the most disappointing things with Pits and Spits pellet smokers is that the Wi-Fi is an upcharge and you have to get this module. It's $174.99. I think you have to drill the hole through the side of your pellet hopper too, which also not very attractive. These other two things that I have over here to the right were custom quoted for me by Pits and Spits. So I asked about it and they gave the quote. The cover was $225. Modular grate system. So this is a picture. Of course, this isn't the picture for the actual smoker itself, but for the Maverick hybrid of the size, they gave me a quote for $459.99. The modular grates are a fun addition, and I think I talk about them in two other episodes that I cover for Pits and Spits. The latest being stainless steel pellet smokers. So if you want to check that one out, you can see a link for that above. But $459.99 for modular grates, and you can change out what kind of grates are in there. If you want bars, say you want a griddle in there. So really an interesting sort of feature to have. I think it's fun. All right, and we do have some maps here. One thing to consider if you're looking for a pellet offset combo is distance from you. That's going to play into what you pay for shipping. We're going to see that the pricing is pretty close otherwise on the next slide. But the Pits and Spits is down there in Houston, Texas, and we've got Brocmar up there in Pennsylvania. So, looking at my own proximity in North Carolina, the Triad area, I think that I am closer to Pennsylvania. So the shipping might be a little bit better on that side. But of course, I'd have to check with both to be absolutely sure. All right, and here we are with a side by side comparison. So for the 3.0, it's 4,199 with the second shelf, of course, and 4,999 for the 3.1. So that price is it's a dollar off of the 5,000 carbon steel model of the hybrid. Of course, the stainless is double that. 35 pounds for hopper size for both of these. I looked into the firebox size, and truthfully, in volume, it is remarkably close. The Pits and Spits is a tiny bit bigger. Now, firebox grill is a no for the Brocmar. Gas assist also a no. The firebox grill is kind of a missed opportunity, I think, for Brocmar. I do like both of those options in the Pits and Spits. The trade-off, of course, is that you don't have the Wi-Fi, right? No Wi-Fi on this. It's an upcharge. So is Wi-Fi worth the grill and the gas assist? I think Pits and Spits may have a slight edge here. The other thing, I like the dual stacks, and I didn't put this on here. I like the dual stacks on the Brocmar. The fact that there's only a stack on one side of the Pits and Spits makes me wonder about the evenness of the heat flow through the pit. Of course, we can't see the baffling on either of these, and you would have to do testing on both of them to actually know, right? So we don't know, but it is just something that was in my mind. Now, the inches squared for both levels, we're going to see that, 1460 for the 3.0, 1770 for the 3.1, and largest of all, 1809.5 for the Pits and Spits there. So really very close in size for the 3.1 and the hybrid. Now, when you break it down, dollar per inches squared, 288 for the 3.0, 282 for the 3.1, and 276 for the hybrid. So that's the best, but it's so close that you just have to sort of take that as you will. The weights, now, these weights are estimates. I think all three of them actually. So, which one's the heaviest? I think that the 3.1 and the hybrid probably do have very close weights as well. I don't know. So, very close. The dollar per pound also very close, and seeing as we don't exactly know the weights, the 3.0 is in its own size category and range. And if that is your price range, you have the obvious answer. But between the 3.1 and the hybrid, I can't tell you. I would go with the Brocmar, I think. I like the style. It is a bummer particularly about the grill top. The thing about Brocmar is you might be able to call them and see what they'd be willing to do about that. They are a smaller company. Maybe they do something in regards to that for you. You never know. You never know. And now on to gas and charcoal. All right, so we've got Char-Broil up first. Both of these are prices from Walmart. It is sold from other retailers. We'll again have links in the description Of course, there is another competitor, so check out that part as well. But for the 3 burner, we have it for $416.32. Strangely enough, the sale for this 4 burner actually makes it cheaper, $393.87. So wow. Let's take a look at the features. So there is a side burner on this one, and there is also, most importantly, the method by which it uses 2 different fuels. For this one, you have patented charcoal racks. Now, the patented design supposedly limits flare-ups by limiting oxygen around the charcoal as it's burning. Not entirely sure about that. But apparently they say it works. Char-Broil, they do have some engineers who have done a lot with that kind of thing before. If you check out my kettle grill episode and look them up, the way that they do their grill grates for that had something similar. Not entirely similar, but check it out if you want to. One thing about this system, though, especially if you want to go from gas to adding in charcoal between the cook, or if you just want to refuel the charcoal, you're going to have to get those grates up and out of the way for that to happen. And the 3 burner doesn't have the grate tool, as near as I can tell. The grate tool comes with the 4 burner grill. So definitely it seems like the 4 burner is the one to get. Now you have a warming rack as well. The 3 to 4 burner rip stop grill cover is one that I picked. They may have more covers you can buy from Char-Broil, but $28.49 for that one. And now let's look at Char Griller, which is sold, I believe, exclusively from the Home Depot. It is called the Flavor Pro Multi-Fuel Grill, and it is $549. All right, and here are some pictures. Now, the obvious thing right out of the gate is that it has what's called a flavor drawer. And as you can see, usually over these burners, you have some sort of tenting to keep, one, to spread out the heat, right? But also to keep grease from dripping down and causing flare ups. It seems that they've taken those tents and sort of made them into holders for the charcoal and or wood chips, what have you, that you're going to put in this drawer. So yeah, that's basically it. Also, it appears that we have the same sort of cast iron grates that we had in the previous model. You can see that there is a warming rack up there. We have, instead of vents just sort of in the back, we have 2 stacks, and we have the Flavor Pro grill cover that's $45. So a little bit more expensive. I think twice as expensive than the other grill cover that we saw for the Char-Broil. All right, and now we have the side-by-side comparison. So that Char Griller is about over $100 more than the Char-Broil right now. Is it a sturdier stuff? Well, we have the pounds down there, so we'll see that. Charcoal considerations. I know it says cons, but that's how I abbreviated it there. Flare-ups are limited for the Char-Broil, but the ease of refueling for the Char Griller may make it better. So side burner, a yes for the Char-Broil and a no for the Char Griller. So if having that extra burner is what is the difference for you, maybe that could be it. Star rating, okay, so now remember that these are on the websites that are selling them, but 4.3 stars for the 3 burner, 4.4 for the 4 burner Char-Broil. Char Griller, also 4.4 stars, 88.7% recommend on the Home Depot website. So if you look at AmazingRibs.com, which is a great resource. Now, I didn't read their articles, but I'm going to link both of them here. I wanted to make my own opinions, but they have tested both of these. The Char-Broil one is a not recommended, which gives me pause about that. and bronze metal, which is the lowest metal that they gave to the Char-Griller. So, if you're seriously considering buying one of these, I would go to that website to see what they have to say. Now, the inches squared we have here, so it's 420 for three burner, 710 for the four burner Char-Broil, 725 for the Char-Griller. So very even with both the four burners that are there. Dollar per inches squared, 99 cents and 55 cents, 76 cents. So sort of right there in between with the Char-Griller. Now, the weight 104, 132, 126. The statistics here seem to be saying that, Char-Broil is better, but the recommendation, the bronze medal from the Amazing Ribs is making me wonder if Char-Griller really is where it's at. I like that pull-out drawer, ease of use, I think might beat flare-ups to me. So keep that in mind. But ultimately, it is your decision if either of these is the way you want to go. And lastly, didn't feel like this was in the running with those two. We have the Masterbuilt Pro Series Dual Fuel Propane and Charcoal Smoker in black plus cover. So covers included here, $289. It is, I believe, exclusive to the Home Depot as well, just like the Char-Griller that we just saw. Okay. In all other regards, it looks like a propane smoker, except that it has this circular plate that you see. It is supposed to shield the burner from grease drippings, as well as hold charcoal. Imagine you could put some wood chips or chunks in there as well. Um, that water tray would be sort of a shield from the heat, so heat shield as well as soaking up the heat energy into that water. In a lot of ways, this seems like a bullet smoker with a gas assist. That's the way I look at it. And of course, you can just use gas if you want to, right? And just put some wood chips up there in that plate as well. So I do like this one. I like this from Masterbuilt. I'm not really a propane guy, but if I was going to have a propane vertical smoker like the ones that they have, this I think could be the way that I would go. And I put this text down here: patented porcelain coated flame disc bolt allows flames to reach charcoal or wood chunks while shielding burner from grease. So didn't want to spend too much time on that, but that is what it is. And lastly, please add your own thoughts. I try to put my own thoughts in here as well, but you have your thoughts too. And put your reviews, if you have any of these grills or smokers, in the comments. I love to read those, and I'm sure some of our other watchers will want to read them as well. And lastly, you know what, y'all? Go get your smoke on.